Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Broken Roads with me, Bregaton. Let's rest up and then raid the archives. Oh. If you choose to continue, you won't be able to go back and finish any side quests. Yes, continue. Well, I'm glad I did the side quest when I did. My gut told me that there was a point of no return coming up, and I'm glad I trusted it. Which we could have just said no and went back and done them anyway. Good day. Good day to you too. Not such a good day for this guy. I wonder who killed these guys, because if the rebels were here, why didn't they grab the file they needed? This is the census archive. Seems reasonable that they'd keep information about past people here. No luck though. Maybe it's in one of the other stacks. Best keep looking. These are the historical archives, stretching back from before the Great Screw-Up. Seems logical they'd keep information about Gwen Gold here, right? Unfortunately, the love for order and logic doesn't seem to fit with the Kalgoorlie filing system. You don't find anything. The Personnel Archive seemed like a great place to find information about the founder of Kalgoorlie. Worth a shot, anyway. Your instincts were right at last. There's a thick folder labeled Gwen Gold crammed into the shelf. You pick it up, leaf through it quickly. Brief history, overview of her accomplishments, and towards the back, plans. It's a thick file of papers about Gwen Gold's life. It opens to a couple of dog-eared pages at the back, and it takes just a few moments to absorb the horrifying information in it. Gold's dream was to create a fortress of her city. Picture a circle drawn a few hundred kilometers around Kalgoorlie. Everything inside it is part of the chosen land. Then, drawing the abundant strange energy from the pit, Gold wanted to blast a 100-kilometer ring beyond that. A lifeless dead zone like a massive moat. Everyone in that ring would be destroyed. Every tree, every plant, every river wiped clean. And to keep invaders out, and to keep everyone else in. This could make Kalgoorlie a utopia, or it could turn into a giant open-air prison. Unfortunately, there's no way to tell how it would pan out, not until you're living it. The punt to end all punts. Time to get this topside. Maeve will be waiting. That sounds like a terrible idea. So what if something goes wrong in the city? You have no way to leave or do anything, you're just stuck there. Gwen Gold's file. The dates listed come from before, but the paper is barely aged a day. Kalgoorlie takes excellent care of their written records. Odd that they leave that lying around though. Especially since Gwen Gold is such a prominent figure from the city. I'd assume a lot of people come and look her up and read about her. I assume that access to the archives is restricted, but the people that are going there probably read up on Gwen Gold. Mostly because it's the other Golds that are probably going there. You found Gold's file. Wonderful. Let me see it. She takes it from your hands and raffles through it. She pauses on a sheet towards the end, and her eyes widen. Bloody hell, she whispers. This is worse than I imagined. This is a working of unimaginable power and utterly destructive. Kev is desperate to hold his position, and he doesn't care how many he hurts if he gets to do that. All those towns he slaughtered, all those deaths, it's a prelude to this. He's drawn a radius of a few hundred kilometers around the city. That's all fine. But another 100 outside that, He's going to scourge utterly with magic. He means to kill everyone who lives in the blast path, and to make it impossible for anyone to get in or out. It'll be an enormous prison for every soul trapped here. Someone's got to stop him. So how can anyone stop him? This dossier contains the history of Gwen Gold. It holds her plans for Kalgoorlie's future. This is what Kev is building towards. Take it to the Ivanhoe headframe, get it to the broadcast room, and tell the citizens of Kalgoorlie what's being done in their name. If we've any luck, they'll rise up and do the rest. He holds the papers out for you to take. Take the papers. Alright, I'll do what I can. Thanks, mate. This will be the most important part of this revolution. Get this done. We've got a chance to shape the future for the better. Now get going. You're not seriously going to broadcast those plans, are you? The last thing we need is to create a panic. We have to stop him. All eyes turn on Adam. We kill Kev. We stop this madness. It's the only option that makes sense. We take the plans of Scanlan. Kev will let his guard down. No one ever needs to know how close they came to annihilation. Not if we do this right. Now let's get a wriggle on. No one looks at each other as they contemplate what's to come. As the person they found themselves following, they look at you least of all. I think they've got a good point. Can I go confront Kev directly? Skip the middleman? Just saw this. An oldie but a goodie. We never saw that. 25 XP. It's just me.
I live to serve. Be seeing you.
Alright, we'll give the file to Ansel. I'd rather give it to that other guy. I forget his name. Young Angry Gold. I want to say Sebastian, but I know his name's not Sebastian. Also, I'm not sure how far that radio would broadcast. Is it just within Kalgoorlie? Because I don't want to villainize Kalgoorlie to everyone else in the area. I'm not sure. I'm going to go with this path. We'll still put a stop to Kev. And the plan won't come to fruition. I don't know, I do want to read it on the radio, but it's actually Sean that's deterring me from doing that. Let's try and do this quietly and calmly. We'll just take the head off the snake. He looks legitimately surprised to see you. What are you doing here? Hand him the dossier. The rebel leader is dead. This is what she was looking for, and she wanted to broadcast it to the world. You surprised me. Truly. I hadn't thought you capable of that. I had no idea you'd be so effective undercover. Kev, I want to thank you personally. Come along. travel to the pit.
Welcome to Kalgoorlie's heart.
He takes a step towards the deeply unsettling royal of colours and sound that occupies the centre of the super pit. Where he walks, trails of light flicker around the outline of his footprints. Tendrils of power reach from the void towards him, searching with tentative stepping motions, like lightning seeking the ground. He reaches out, joyfully, expansively, and the tendrils contract to a single pulsating tether, shimmering over and around him like light reflecting in a spinning mirror.
You know what I've come here to do. You brought those plans to me instead of the rebels. I reckon you're on my side, yeah? Here to help me see it through?
He turns to you, energy rippling across his skin like silk. Nah, I'm still here to stop you. Are you sure about that? Because from where I'm standing, you've been on my side all along.
Although, not to rain on your parade, but you really haven't done much of note, have you? Bit of a legend in your own lunchbox, to borrow a phrase. You did take my advice and get citizenship.
Well, the main quest kinda made me. Color cues of energy rise from his shoulders.
Silver's a lot to take, I know, when you're used to giving your own orders. But isn't it a relief, too, to be released from the shackles of responsibility? To know that whatever happens, it's not on you?
Option 6 is a bit odd because people rebel against any government. Yeah. A society should capitalize on the strengths of each of its members. Yours puts people in boxes and limits their growth. Look at it this way. In Kalgoorlie, you only need to be one thing. Out there in the wide world, you've had to be what? Merchant, warrior, orienteer, camel wrangler, and everything in between. Living within a system that limits you allows you to flourish in the directions best suited to your nature, instead of growing the way the world wants you to. Because, as we both know, the world can ask you to do some pretty messed up stuff.
I have to wonder, though, you know I expected to be having this conversation with our dear friend Mick, don't you? He was my original surveillance target. Then Connor had the breakdown of the century, and by the time Mick woke up, everyone was listening to you instead. Honestly, I didn't expect a little thing like having to kill his own son would slow old gut wound down too much, but it seems to have had quite an effect. Unintended, sure, but that's down to randomness and luck. Do you really think anyone would have followed you otherwise?
Yeah, everything I've done, I did for the good of everyone under my care. Also like option 3. Yeah, we're all here because we want to be. Because we want to stop you. You know, uniting hatred of someone seems like a good idea, until you realize how easily it can be turned against you. If you think it could never happen to you, that bonds forged in the fires of tribulation can never be severed, take a look in the mirror. List out the things you hate about yourself, as well as the things you're proud of. That's how many ways they have to get to you, when they're done with me. Or did you somehow think they haven't been judging you this whole time?
Now, have I convinced you the future is better off in my hands? Because, let's face it, you were kind of always on my side. Just continue the pattern, stand beside me, and let's walk together into Kalgoorlie's bright tomorrow.
I don't understand his argument saying that we were always on his side. Is he just trying to gaslight me because I've never been working with him? Yeah, nah.
Well, what do you know? Violence is the last refuge of the incompetent. If anyone wants to leave now, I promise no retribution for the part you played in bringing this shit stain to my door.
He calls to your companions. What? Yeah, I'll take you up on that. Cheers. Without so much as a glance at you, he turns and walks away. He doesn't take her eyes off Kev. Mad, don't do this. I need you. Crap, Elle. She turns and gestures impatiently at you. When are you going to understand that no one's who they say they are? Whatever you think about old mate here, one day, you're going to be disappointed. Come on, Elle. Now let me dig your grave too. What? She wavers for a moment, then almost as if against her own volition, puts her rifle away. Okay, Mad. You win. What an odd time to walk away. They know the same stuff that we know. They even made the same argument that we have to put a stop to Kev. They're gonna walk away. That makes no sense.
Well, that was embarrassing. Anyone else?
He watches them leave, suppressing a smile. What? His knuckles show white in the fluctuating glow as he holsters his weapon. Jess is waiting for me. I owe her better than leaving her wondering if I'm ever going to come home again. He looks at you and shakes his head. Good luck, guys. Then he walks away.
Well, that even the odds. Literally. Oh, this is going to go so badly for you.
He slaps his knee. Unless you want to reconsider. His eyes sparkle darkly in the fluctuating light. Live to fight another day. Nah, yeah. I thought you'd never say go. He brings his hands up into the casting stance. I've been waiting to knock this guy's block off since he stole my sandwich when we were in kindy.
Easiest mark in the eye crash, eh, Isaac? Good to know you've matured enough to let those petty squabbles go.
He grins. Well, at least we have Adam.
So much for no more killing.
Shut up and die. Oh, he grins. I don't know if I read that. I don't know if we're gonna win this. Alright, so he's not actually that strong. I thought he was gonna have access to more spells. Oh, there they are. Okay, that's pretty easy. But what's with all the companions leaving? Even if they didn't like me. I feel like they should have left before we went to go confront Kev. And they shouldn't have said we had to stop Kev. That just blows my mind. He collapses, the tendrils of the rift unraveling from his arms to let him fall. In the sudden silence, his last breath is as loud as the breaking of the world.
And just like that, the fate of Kalgoorlie was in your hands. Only one decision remained to be made. Would you go ahead with Gwen Gold's plan? leeching life and energy from everywhere beyond Meriden? Or would you decree it a path never to be taken and return control of the future of West Oz to the people who live there, and not just in Kalgoorlie?
Don't create the exclusion zone.
People grumbled as people do. Entire divisions of the city's bureaucracy were made redundant. A new plan emerged, one of cooperation instead of conquest, of outreach instead of imposition. The people of West Oz never knew how close they had come to annihilation. And that was good enough. For now. They hailed you as a hero. They didn't have much of a choice. With Kev dead and a populace that had been conditioned to obey, it was follow you or devolve into chaos. The people of Kalgoorlie chose obedience. Under your guidance, the cities of Meriden and Kalgoorlie formed a strategic alliance, sharing resources instead of claiming them for one side or the other. The section of the Goldfields water supply pipeline between Kalgoorlie and Meriden was repaired, reversing the flow of 100 years prior. Parched animals and land surrounding Meriden were revitalised by the influx of life-giving water, and the people of both cities rejoiced. Mick restructured Meriden from the ground up, overturning the monopoly of the great houses and distributing the responsibilities amongst those who could prove themselves worthy. Although he tried to rally support and retake Brookton, few were willing to relocate permanently beyond Meriden's walls, and public support for the proposal dried up. Despite his failure to uphold the promise he had made to Brookton survivors, Mick was well liked, for an outsider, and ran unopposed for many years. Gwen Gold's plan laid by the wayside, Kalgoorlie had to find other ways to flourish. Its people cultivated relationships and partnerships with those outside and opened themselves up to new ideas along with trade. The Eastern warlords continued to agitate, but with no clear understanding of Kalgoorlie's capabilities, they kept their distance. Life went on much as it had for the past 100 years. And slowly, centimetre by centimetre, year by year, the influence of the energies that had sustained Kalgoorlie continued to recede until only the city itself was left standing, a husk of its former glory in an age that had forgotten about miracles.
No summary for Southern Cross or any of the other settlements. So, I have mixed thoughts on the game. I think it has a lot of interesting components, and they try to do a lot of neat things, like incorporating real-world philosophies and using that to kind of determine your character's alignment. But I don't know, the game came up short for me. I think, first off, companions. Companions did not play nearly enough of a role. You don't use your companion skill checks for anything, it's just your main character. That's a missed opportunity. I feel like companions, especially since they seem to respond to your alignment, they should at least chime in when you make dialogue selections based on the philosophies in the game. Either showing that they're for or against it, because they really don't know what your companions' alignments are and how to make them happy. I had 3 companions walk off in the final fight, after saying we had to stop the guy. So I think something has to be added there. So I think when you pick like a utilitarian option, the companion should chime in for or against it. Not that you can change your option after that, but just so you know what they feel, and maybe you can shape your party around similar views, so they don't all storm off in the final fight. Another missed opportunity are unique items. I may not really fit what they're going for in this game, but I think at the very least DJ's quest. He got a new outfit and everything, but it didn't count as a unique set of armor. And then I think like taking out the Ripper should have given us a unique weapon or something. And I know we didn't kill the flaming kangaroo for Corda's quest, but if we did, maybe get something unique from that as well. Some of the crafted weapons might be unique, but they don't seem very good, and you can't upgrade them. You can only upgrade the clubs and the revolvers. I tried upgrading other weapons, but nothing came of it. So, another missed opportunity. You're very limited to what weapons you can use and which ones you can upgrade. Which, the Spike Club upgrade didn't matter, because you can just find another one. Or buy one. Rusty, the Wandering Trader, is also a missed opportunity. He could have had more unique stuff, but that's not a big deal. Also, Will, the kid that was outside of Meriden that sold the 2 really good pieces of equipment. You lose out on those if you complete the quest that's tied to him. Well, it's tied to the other guy. Menzies' assistant, or accountant, whatever he was. But then you can't trade with him anymore. I felt like some of the quests seemed a little disconnected, which, I mean, it's called Broken Roads, so maybe it's supposed to be a little disconnected, but a few times I felt like I was just wandering aimlessly. I did appreciate that some of the dialogue was reactive to what you were doing or who you had spoken to. So you could speak to somebody, go speak to other people, come back and speak to that first person again about the other people or about other topics that came up. It was fairly responsive, and it did pay to be thorough and go back around and make your laps around settlements. Some of the quests just didn't update properly. That's a little frustrating because I don't know if I actually completed the quest or not. Like the one in Lake Deborah, Dead Ringer, which I think just bugged out for us. I don't think we're supposed to get that last tier of that quest in Ardath. I think it was supposed to stop because we didn't free him in time. And Meriden. I felt like there's some revelations at the end too, like Kev was trying to groom Mick for the role that we took, but there's no indication of that before. They also didn't seem to indicate that killing his son, I mean, obviously it would impact him a lot, but it didn't really come up in conversation besides when it happened and possibly some melancholic dialogue in Meriden. I don't know, the game, I don't really feel anything after completing it, which isn't good. I'm mostly riddled with complaints, thinking back on it. Combat kind of felt like an afterthought, and there's some missed opportunities for more combat early on, because if you make your character like a purely combat character in character creation, you have, at least with my origin story, the Jackaroo, we had one combat encounter for the first, I don't know how many hours of gameplay. I think when Brookton is getting attacked, you should have the opportunity to fight some raiders as you're making your escape. Like maybe in order to rescue the citizens, there's like a couple raiders here and there kind of harassing them, so you step in and put a stop to it. Just something to mix up the early game, because it was a pretty slow start. And I also found that I wasn't using most of the combat abilities. Some of them just didn't seem to make sense in combat. I think Attune didn't seem very good. I think DJ only had Attune, and Attune, I think, if I remember correctly, I didn't use it, but I think it empowers your other magic abilities, but DJ didn't have any other magic abilities, so Attune didn't do anything. But yeah, I used 2 or 3 abilities. I used Sprint, I used Barbican, and I used the charge ability. I already forgot the name of it. It would have been cool if at the Magic Academy, if maybe a couple like pre-selected companions could also unlock magic. I know you have a couple magicians in your party, Adam and DJ, but that's it. But it'd be cool if like either Ella or Mad could also unlock magic potential when we spoke to the Justin Keen at the Magic Academy. Also, it would have been cool if Scott Messer went back to Kalgoorlie like he said he was going to. We could speak to him there. Maybe he was tied with the Resistance, or I don't know, something. Just have him back in Kalgoorlie to talk to. Or as a way to get us into the city. Because we had to prove that we belong there, that we were good enough to be there. And Scott Messer could have vouched for us instead. Also, yeah, and then I mentioned about the Ripper earlier. He just died. We told him we're gonna go to Meriden, and he died. So I went and collected his stuff and turned in the quest, but then it said I lied. I didn't actually have his charm to turn in. That's one of those like disconnected quests I was talking about. That's a prime example. So we stumble upon the Ripper. We defend his house. I try to talk to the people that are attacking him. He guns them down. Say, hey, let's go to Meriden. And he never shows up in Meriden, so I go back to his house. He's dead, for whatever reason, along with his wife or girlfriend. And then I find a pendant on him. It's not the one he initially gave us, because it wasn't called Ripper's whatever. It was called something else. Then I go to turn it into Hunter, and it says I have to lie about turning it in. About turning in the right one. So, oh, the Ripper's dead, but I'm lying about it. Where does the other one go? Why did they turn in the bounty? Like, if a scavenger came across his body and took it, why was I still able to collect the bounty? So that was a little frustrating. Because my choices didn't matter. The game decided to do whatever it wanted, despite what I said and did. So, yeah, a little frustrating. It was an okay game. I think it had potential. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Very mixed on it. Again, it had some neat ideas, and I appreciated some of the stuff in the game. Especially it having magic. That was kind of out of nowhere. Didn't expect that. But yeah, I think my biggest grievance though is the companions not being more interactive, and also not be able to use their abilities. So I think, because I didn't put any awareness on my main character, so there's probably awareness checks I missed left and right. Because I was like, oh, okay, well I have Sean and Ella, but nothing came of that. And I think the only one that really came up in dialogue was Mad and drinking. I think there was 2 drinking scenarios where you used Mad. That was it. Every once in a while they chime in on the main quest, but not nearly often enough. And then when they did, like that last segment there, they said we had to stop Kev. It didn't matter, because they all just stormed off anyway. It's like, oh, you're a utilitarian. Shame on you. I'm not going to stop this guy, even though I said we had to. That frustrated me. They should have left before that, but it's alright. Adam, myself, and my Spite Club put a stop to him. So, Sean was my favorite character, my favorite companion, up to that point, even though there's a couple dialogues I didn't really care for. But now Adam's my bro, so. But that's going to do it for this Let's Play. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for joining me on yet another adventure. I will see you guys in the next one.